So this lesson is going to be pleasantly less challenging than it looks. So we are now into multiplying two-digit numbers by two-digit numbers, but we're going to start off a little nicer, ease our way into it. This is using mental math. That means we are not writing anything down. We're doing it in our head. But the nice part is this is all simple multiplication. It's just kind of hidden in there. So I want you to see how I write this because I'm going to be using two different colors, okay? So, not yet. If I'm doing, anytime I multiply by a 10, it's pretty straightforward, right? I know what, multiplying by 1, happy days. But let me just show you how I'm doing this because not all of it will be multiplied by 10s. So my first problem is 30 times 10. Watch how I'm going to write this. So 30 times 10. I'm focusing on the red first. 3 times 1 is 3, so I'm going to write my 3. Now, how many zeros do I see? 2. I'm going to add those 2 zeros on. So 3 times 10 is 300. So for me, color coding helps. And when you're doing this at your table, you can come get a colored pencil. Not right now. Or you can use a pen, but a pen will not be much of a different color than your pencil. For me, having those different colors can really help. So let's try another kind of easy with a 10. If I'm going to do 50 times 10, so 50 times, if I write, you write, 10. So I focus on the red first. 5 times 1 is 5. How many zeros do I have? 2. I'm adding them in. 500. Okay. What about 60 times 20? So now I'm getting into out of that one comfort zone. 60 times 20. Whoops. There we go. 6 times 2 is 12. So I'm writing my 12 first. There's my main number. How many zeros do I have? 2. So I add in my 2 zeros. So 1,200. What about 80 times 50? 80 times 50. What's 8 times 5? 40. So there's my main number. This is where you get in trouble, guys. This is why I do it in two different colors. I already have a 0 here. How many more zeros am I adding? 2 more zeros. So where you get in trouble is you go, oh, 2 zeros need to be added, and 8 times 5 is 40, so here's my 4, and then 1, 2 zeros. And then you have 400 instead of 4,000. So when I'm writing them this way, I am making sure I've got the full number in there first before I start throwing around zeros like Oprah. You probably don't get that reference, you're too young. But because, you know, Oprah, on her favorite things, you get a 0, and you get a 0, and you all get zeros. So, anytime I'm doing this, all I'm focusing on is a simple multiplication problem. 8 times 5, 9 times 7, 4 times 3, 6 times 1. These are all things that I am pretty darn close to having memorized completely. And you know what? I don't know them all, and that's okay. I practice every night to make sure. But when I set it up like this, I'm just doing some simple multiplication where I'm adding some zeros on the end. So what about 40 times 50? Let's do 2 more. 40 times 50. What's my main focus? 4 times 5. What's 4 times 5? 20. So I'm going to write my main number first. There's 20. Now I'm adding those 2 zeros in. So it's not 200, it's 2,000 is my answer. When I do different colors like this, it helps me see the difference. Now, once this becomes something I'm more confident in and I can get it done quickly, I don't have to use different colors. I can also use arrows. I can use little dots. I can use lots of little things that remind myself to get it done. So what if I were to do, let's say 70 times 90, and I'm going to write it without two colors. I'm just going to write it one way. 70 times 90. If I'm going to use my arrows, I can just go 7 times 9. What is 7 times 9?
63.
63. And then 0 and a 0. It's a lot of arrows there, but that helps if I'm not using two colors. I can also just use my dots. Dots to just mark off that I've used it. So let's say 30 times 80. Okay. What is 8 times 3? I'm going to underline those. What's 8 times 3?
24.
24. Now, here's 1 0. I'm going to put a dot under it. I'm using it. Here's my second 0. I'm putting a dot under it. I'm going to use it. So I've got lots of ways that I can hold myself accountable for putting those zeros in. Cool?
Cool.
All right. I am not too concerned. I think we're all doing pretty good here, yeah? Like everything we learn in here, guys, the minute the light bulb goes on, it goes from being a challenge to something fun and getting it done.